What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV. Tottenham 3, Elfsborg 0, and Tottenham are safe and sound in the top 8. Finishing, where did we finish? 5th? 4th? 4th. We finished 4th, and yeah, that's exactly what we needed. We all needed something like this as a fan base, and Hotspur away duly delivered this evening. Dane Scarlett out from the cold in his loan at Oxford. Come back. We all thought he was going back out on loan. He's come on and saved our bacon today. Golden assist. Ajayi comes on. No one was speaking about Ajayi being like, there's talking about Jamie Donnelly, there's talking about Alfie Devine, there's talking about Mikey Moore, Dane Scarlett, all these players, Will Lancashire. No one's talking about Ajayi. He comes on and scores a sensational goal, and then Mikey Moore right at the end gets his goal as well. And I don't think it was the best display by Mikey Moore in terms of what we've seen from him so far this season, but what a goal straight out of the top drawer from Mikey Moore. And Hotspur Way is absolutely cooking people. And to think about it, you got these three players who's come on and done it for the first team in the Europa League in a game where we needed it to happen, right? But you've got players out on loan absolutely smashing it right now with Jamie Donnelly. You've got Alfie Devine and Luka Vuskovic out in Belgium. You've got George Abbott as well doing his bits at Notts County. The future is so bright with the players that we've got at the moment. It's absolutely insane. And for players like that to show basically the first team how to do it is just so good to see, man. It really is so good to see. And Hotspur Way, man, what can I say? Hotspur Way, we all said we've got a golden generation here, and now we're starting to see it on the pitch for the first team.
Absolutely. We were saying it, but like had that video before the game saying, you know, the loan players are really showing justification for us saying this could be a golden generation because, they, you know, the likes of Donnelly and Abbott and all these guys were absolutely smashing it on their loans. And now have these youngsters come on in such an important... You've got to remember, this was such an important game for us tonight to get in that top 8, make sure that first we're qualifying for the last 16, make sure we don't have those games in February, and make sure we're lightening the load on the squad. And let's be honest, for a time in that second half, it looked like maybe we could be struggling here because as much as first half we were on top, Sonny was absolutely cooking. He was levels above anyone on that pitch in the first half, Sonny. It was almost too easy for him at times. He even set a record for the most dribbles completed in a half in Europa League history. So that goes to show how good he was playing. But as much as we had a few chances, we were struggling to break him down, and their keeper was playing well, and we weren't really creating enough chances. And you know how Tottenham games have gone over the past few weeks, where we've had decent first halves and then completely run out of energy. And that looked like it might happen again today. You know, second half starts with Elfsborg had that chance, that overhead kick goes over the bar, and then Dragusin goes off injured. He looks like he's got a knee injury, a bad one, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my God, we're going to have to play the last, like, I think half an hour, whatever it was, with no recognised centre-back, and we're going to have to rejig the whole team. We know Richarlison had to come off at some point because he wasn't 100% fit. We know Saar was struggling with a niggle coming into this game. He wasn't 100% fit. We know Bergval's been running on empty. Even in this game, didn't have his best game. He was probably fatigued. Archie Gray's been playing every single minute as well. Pedro Porro's been playing every single minute. And you're thinking, all these issues going into the last half an hour, and if, you know, it turned out if Tottenham would have lost, we would have been out of the competition. So...
out of the top 8.
Out of the top 8, sorry. So, you know, it was really, really important we didn't lose this game. And at that point, you're thinking, let's just take a draw properly and get out of here because we might end up losing this game. He brings on Dane Scarlett, which I think a lot of people would have said, first of all, why not Lancashire, who's you know, not had a look in for a while. But he brings on Dane Scarlett, he moves Saar to left back, he moves Rishi to left wing, Mikey Moore on the right, and he put Decky back in the centre, and it absolutely paid off completely. And it turned out to be a brilliant move because I think within 5 minutes, Decky crosses it, Dane Scarlett gets on the end of it, a brave header inside the box, and Spurs take the lead. And what a moment for Dane Scarlett, who's, you know, struggled on occasion with loan deals, and a lot of people questioning, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it at Tottenham in the first team? We know that he was highly thought of as a 16-year-old. Mourinho giving him his debut, I remember, against West Brom, saying, I wanted to be the one to give him his debut because I knew he was going to be a special player. And these loan deals have made people question, is he going to be the guy for us? Is he ever going to, you know, make the grade? And coming off the bench today in a big pivotal Europa League game, especially when he's been out in the cold. And now as well, that means he has to be here till the end of the season as well, him playing. So it was a big call from Ange to bring him on and give him those minutes. And it just paid off. He came on, he just added a different element to our attack. He was such a danger, pressing hard, showing all his quality in a brilliant brave header after an unbelievable cross from Decky to put Spurs 1 up. And from that moment on, it kind of you just saw the relief come out of Tottenham, I think, in that moment. All of a sudden, Moore nearly scored. He should have made it with a good shot. And you just saw Tottenham that gave them the shot in the arm they needed to go on and win that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It just makes me think even more with the tiredness and the fatigue that has set into the team over the last month or so. We should be giving youth a chance a bit more, whether it be from starting points or whether it be off the bench, probably more off the bench. And we just haven't, and we've let the fatigue and fester in the squad, and who knows what could have happened if we would have given more of these players a chance off the bench. Maybe they could have had an impact, maybe not. Maybe it's a higher level of competition. Maybe they wouldn't have kind of flourished in that atmosphere, but you never know until you try it. And he tried it in this game. Yes, the opposition wasn't that great. You got to say that. Like Elfsborg, I mean, they rarely troubled us. Apart from about 5-10 minutes in the start of the second half, I thought pretty much Spurs completely dominated. They controlled the game. Van der Ven, great to see him back in the first half. I thought he was so calm, so assured, so measured. It was just such a breath of fresh air to see him back in the starting lineup, and it's great to see, like you say, Sonny just absolutely running the show in the first half. And those two players really stood out. And when they go off at half time, you really saw a lack of quality really in that team going into the second half, and then up stepped the Hotspur way graduates, the academy boys, and they pulled us through in the game. But yeah, but if you're going to win if you want to win a game, this is the most perfect way to win it, isn't it? Yeah. With the boys coming off the bench, the Hotspur way graduates, the teenagers just pulling us through out the mud and into the shining lights. I couldn't be happier. I couldn't be happier with the guys that scored. I really couldn't. You got Diamond Dane, you got Awesome Ajayi, you got Magnificent Moore, all these boys, man. And I'm so happy for Mikey Moore as well. Mikey Moore, he's had an impact when he's played this season. I don't think he had such an impact on the game when he was on the right. I thought he had good first 5 minutes beating his man, but I thought he struggled in the game for the most part. But that goal was of the out of the highest degree. The way he showed his strength to keep the ball, and then he was so direct, just darting down the centre of the park. Didn't let the two defenders touch him, and a finish that was sublime.
Yeah, phenomenal. And the way he just kept the ball away from those defenders. He's got 3 defenders between him and the goal, and the way he manoeuvred the ball to just give that yard of space and a clinical finish into the bottom corner. But yeah, look, he could have scored a second as well just before. Just after Dane scored, he could have had a goal as well. It was a good effort, which was saved from the keeper. So, and also in the first half, he had a shot saved from the keeper, really, which was a brilliant one-handed save. So it's not like he didn't make an impact in that sense. But obviously, there were times he struggled. And but the fact is, he could have been on the end of a hat-trick in that game if things went differently. So fair, and it shows how special he is to do that in Europa League. I know the level of opposition not the highest, but at the end of the day, this is still a team that have beaten some good teams in the Europa League this season. So they're not completely useless, but I guess it's fair to say they probably were today. But
that is the reality, right? In the Europa League, though, they've played 4 games, lost 4 games, and I don't think they've scored a goal.
You mean away from home?
Away from home, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that is like what they are. They're not a great team. Maybe at home, in home comforts, they can put on performances, but away from home, they've been found out pretty much every game.
Yes, but still, this is we ended the game with Moore on the right. Ajayi on the right, Moore on the left, and Scarlett up front. That is like, to most teams, are they going to qualify through this tournament with that kind of front three playing every game? Probably not. And I know Elfsborg, they were playing a back five. We saw in the first half how difficult it was to kind of get any joy out of that back five, to be honest, and instead of some specific moments, and Son being at his absolute best in that first half was giving them trouble. But apart from that, it was hard for Richarlison to really make an impact. It was hard for Mikey Moore when he was on the right. As much as they're not the best, highest level opposition, they're not complete rubbish as well, because they've also had some good results. And it was difficult in that first half. And Ajayi comes on for Richarlison. And again, at this point, we're 1-0 up. Yes, it's all well and good, but we still need to see out the result, and we need to I think at this point, Elfsborg have just made some subs. They're really going for it, and obviously we know at this point as well. Still, if we draw, we should be okay. But again, if we allow them to turn it around, we could be in trouble. So we needed to wrap up the game, and Ajayi comes on, links up with Dane Scarlett. Nice one to finish into the near post with a beautiful daisy cutter finish on the edge of the area, and on his debut. 19-year-old coming on to do that in place of a £60 million signing who he came on for. Absolutely phenomenal job, and you saw the delight in his face, and Dane Scarlett getting the assist for it as well. Another beautiful, beautiful moment in the game, and just today belongs to Hotspur and it belongs to youngsters. 3 local lads scoring in a crucial Europa League game to see us into the top 8 is a magnificent moment. It'll be a moment that will live long in the memory for a lot of Spurs fans.
I agree,
tonight.
yeah. No, I know. I kind of gutted that I wasn't there tonight now to see that live in the flesh, because it was a special, special moment to see that. 3 Hotspur Way graduates grabbing the win for Spurs in the Europa League in a pivotal game. It's just what dreams are made of for these boys. It really is. In terms of moving in and looking ahead in the tournament, so Spurs have qualified now for the last 16, which is great stuff. We get to miss the 2 games that would have been in February, and our possible opponents are AZ Alkmaar, Galatasaray, Real Sociedad, and FC Midtjylland. Some difficult games there. RZ, I think we beat them. It wasn't the greatest game, but Mikey Moore played really well that game. We beat them 1-0. Galatasaray, obviously, we lost to already in this tournament, and that's going to, over 2 legs, that'll be a very difficult tie with the talent that they have.
Again, I think they're a different team at home than they are away from home.
Yeah.
Another one of those.
And Real Sociedad as well will be a difficult tie, a really difficult tie. And FC Midtjylland, I mean, I know they can perform on their day, but we really should be beating them over 2 legs. But if we get Galatasaray or Sociedad, it'll be very difficult.
Yeah, I think obviously whoever we get will be favourites for, I think. But obviously we saw Galatasaray when we went there. It could have been 7 or 8 the way that we played, albeit we did play a very weakened team. I think we started with the likes of Lancashire, and I think Gray started on left back, and obviously by the time we play them in March, we'll be in a completely different scenario. And hopefully, given the fact that our league form is so terrible, we're probably going to start prioritising those Europa League games. I'm thinking play the strongest team there and probably rest players in the league. I think so anyway, from when the knockouts come, because I think we probably have to realise that's where the only bit of glory is going to come. We've got to be safe from relegation
at that point.
Yeah, let's hope we'll get some wins between now and then. That's for sure. But yeah, obviously, if there's any worry of that, then maybe not. But I think I like to think we'll have to wait and see where that time comes around. I'd like to think we can rest players in the league at that point and really go for the cup and for the Europa League and start playing our full strength team in those games. So whoever we play, I think we can take the game to them. We can blow them away. We can score lots of goals. But as you say, Sociedad are a top team. Galatasaray got very good players. It's a weird one, Galatasaray. I wouldn't say they're a top team, but they've got very good players. And I think that quality is just, especially in the front line, is just, tough to handle.
Is Osimhen going to be there for the second half of the season? I guess we'll find out in the next couple of days.
Unless he leaves in the next few days. Obviously, Sanchez had a brilliant game. But if we go there with a first choice 11, you got to remember as well, as much as we got humbled with that team we went there with, it still only finished 3-2, and we played a lot of that game with 10 men, and we nearly got back in the game. So you go there with a first choice 11, could be very different. Sociedad, they're a good team, but not sure how good of a season they're having in La Liga. I know that I think they've had better years in La Liga. So, and obviously they didn't have the best Europa League campaign. So, as whoever we face, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, but I'm confident we can get through those ties.
Sociedad are 9th in their division, 3 points or 2 points outside the top 6. So tight. I mean, Sociedad got very good. They've got a good team, don't they? They beat PAOK 2-0 this evening. It looked like they played a bit of a weak team, but
they've lost a lot of their good players in recent years.
Zubamendi, Agard, Baranchea. They got some good players there.
Kubo and Ozorvabal. They got some good players. That's how they rested some tonight. They definitely, I'm not saying they're a bad team by any stretch, but, Spurs, I think, would back themselves if they were with their first choice 11 out there.
Yeah, there's just been actually some news about Will Lancashire. Ali Gold says he's set to head out on loan now. Burnley, Middlesbrough, West Brom, Cardiff and Luton among those interested. Clubs abroad also interested, but Spurs keen to get him playing in the Championship. And that's interesting as well because some of those teams are some of the best teams in the Championship, particularly the likes of Burnley. And it'll be interesting for him to go to Middlesbrough as well, playing under Michael Carrick, who plays a really good brand of football. So, yeah. So that is your instant match reaction. The Hotspur away boys have pulled us through tonight. 3-0 to Tottenham. A goal and assist for Dane Scarlett. Ajayi with the goal. And Mikey Moore as well topped it off. 3-0 right in the last few minutes. So the future's bright, people. The future is lily white.
Apparently Troy Parrott also scoring tonight.
The Troy Parrott Hotspur way is proper cooking, man. Tonight just belongs the Hotspur way over the whole course of the Europa League.
Apparently Ange said tonight it was made in Tottenham.
It was made in Tottenham. It really was. That's very, very true. Very true. But yeah, I couldn't be happier with seeing a win like that with those three boys scoring. I really couldn't. And Bergvall getting an assist as well. So like every goal contributed today was under the age of 19, apart from Kulusevski.
Yeah, and whatever you want to say about Elfsborg, we ended the game not only with the front three of Dane, Moore, and Ajayi. I know Dane's 20, Moore 17, Ajayi's 19. We also have Bergvall there in the midfield, who's been a tired Bergvall as well. You've got Gray in centre back again, who's still 18. So we ended the game again with 5 teenagers at the end of a crucial game, and to get that win in the manner that we did was phenomenal, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. So what a night to be alive.
And Austin in goal.
Another Hotspur way graduate.
Another Hotspur way graduate. Unbelievable. So what, we had 4 on the pitch?
Yeah. Incredible.
Hello. It's getting close to La Masia territory.
That is your instant match reaction. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now is your chance to have your say, people. Link is in the community section, and I want to hear what you have to say on this game today. Spurs home and hosed in the Europa League into the last 16, and we have to play one of Galatasaray, AZ Alkmaar, Real Sociedad, or Midtjylland for a place in the quarter-finals. And who better to come on first than my brother from another mother, Mr. Brian Daigle. Daigle, Hotspur way is cooking.
That literally was schoolboy's own stuff. In all honesty. First of all, Ben, it's good to see your head. What made you take the hat off? You finally got warm in the studio?
No, I have to put my headphones on.
Oh, good point. How are you, boys?
Yeah, all good, man. All good.
Delighted.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's a performance to be proud of, but it's definitely 3 massive moments to be proud of.
Yeah, you're completely right. Listen, I was a bit confused when Scarlett came on because I thought if he played for if he came on, obviously that rules out a loan. But obviously the Lancashire news has just come out, so that kind of makes sense. But he came on, got his goal, great header, and the second goal was fantastic, build up. And, of course, Mikey Moore getting a goal like that is always refreshing to see. And it's good to just see the youngsters are coming through. And all right, let's not get carried away with the opposition, but it's brilliant to see the youngsters put in an effort like that, isn't it?
It really is. Where did that Ajayi goal come from?
I've got no, mate, to tell you the truth, I was at work whilst watching it, and I was just typing stuff, and then it was in the net, so I didn't even see the goal till the end. But it's beautiful build-up, isn't it? Beautiful build-up, and Scarlett's got a goal and an assist, and I think they both scored within 5 minutes of coming on, didn't they? Each of them.
So tell me about Dane, because obviously before the game, it was known that if he comes on today, that means he can no longer go on loan for the rest of the season. So when we pick up that injury to Dragoshin, he makes a decision, I'm going to bring Dane on instead of maybe Will Lancashire, who could play and also go out on loan. So what was your reaction when you saw that happening? Was it a one of why are you doing that, or were you excited just to see Dane on the pitch?
I have liked Dane. But obviously it hadn't been working out, and he's gone away and he's come back. I did send out a virtual hug to Will Lancashire when that happened. I put a tweet out, one of those virtual hug loading. But it makes sense now with that loan. It's just it doesn't explain to me why Scarlett went out on loan just to come back for Lancashire to go out on loan. Obviously, it might have been better. Either way, it doesn't really matter right now, but because Scarlett's on the score sheet, looks like he's staying. And I think Will Lancashire definitely deserves minutes or needs minutes, doesn't he, Sim? Because he's just been sitting there stagnating since the Galatasaray game with only a handful of minutes. He needs a development, and hopefully he'll get it.
Yeah. What about Sonny, man, in the first half? He was unplayable, wasn't he?
He was. Again, I'll say with the opposition, but that's what you wanted to see. The drag backs, the step overs, the energy. Like, obviously, he's looked dead on his feet, but today he was absolutely energy packed, wasn't he? In the first half, he was non-stop. But for a couple of great saves by their keeper in the first half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Outstanding saves. But they literally, Sonny did have a good game, and maybe it was good to take him off at half-time and give him a rest.
Yeah. With the youngsters coming on and doing what they did today, do you think, like, in hindsight now, with the way Ange has been managing the squad, they should have got more minutes instead of playing our team into the ground a little bit? Well, a lot.
I'm going to say yes to that, but that's because I've been a great believer in the youth and giving them a chance. We heard it that Ange was going to be that man, didn't we? And it goes to show that, again, it's comparing it to the competition that they were playing. This wasn't... I mean, if they're in the Premier League, they'd be in the relegation zone, wouldn't they? So it's hard to gauge, but it is a great moment for them to come on and show what they can do. It'll do the world for their confidence, and it just goes to show that Hotspur Way is actually churning these players out, and they do have the ability.
Well, let's look at it this way then, because with a massive game at Anfield next week, midweek, right? We got Brentford this weekend. Would you like to see some of the more senior players get a rest so they can be more fresher and fitter for the Liverpool game and use some of the younger players?
100%. 100%. As I've said all season, the Cups is the main focus for myself personally, and hopefully the club to end this barren run of 16 years without a trophy. So if we can give the players as much rest as possible, the ones that need it, your Archie Grays, your Pedro Porros, for example. Pape Matar definitely needs a rest, doesn't he, with what he's been doing? I think why not? Why not away to Brentford? Definitely give the first teamers the best chance for that second leg.
Brian, obviously, the good news is with the Hotspur Way guys scoring, but the bad news is looks like quite a bad injury potentially for Dragoshin now with his knee injury. I have to wait to see what Ange says about it, but obviously the way he went down without unchallenged or with his knee, usually those can be quite serious. So another injury to add up to the list, isn't it, Brian? So what are we going to do? Are we going to sign a defender between now and the end of Jan, or are we going to have to go ahead with now Van der Ven's back? That's it. We're just going to have to one comes in, one goes out.
Well, Simeon, as you've said, and you've said it many a time, as soon as we start getting players back, we start losing them, which is really unfortunate. I must admit, I have an apology to make. I had to retweet because when he came back on, I didn't have the sound on a lot because of work. I was like, what?
Oh, is he gone? Is that his side? Yeah. Brian, looks like you've crashed. Let's see if we can get you back on. Oh, he's back.
He's back.
You're
Brian.
back, Brian.
Brian, you're back.
Yeah,
you're back.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, as I was saying, I thought because I didn't have the commentary on, I was like, what the hell is Ange doing putting him back on? Why are you risking him? And I went nuts. And then people started going, no, you idiot. It's so he can go down off. So I went mad. And Simeon, you would have thought it. I went with my heart over my head again. Who would have thought?
Shocking.
Brand new information. So I own my mistake. And then I said I apologise for it. Yeah, but it does not look good. When, like you said, Simeon, when those ones happen and no one is around, they're the more worrying ones, aren't they? And let's just hope it's not serious. From what I understand, it's his knees complaining about, wasn't it?
Yeah, he kind of extended his knee, and it could be quite a bad one, I think.
Well, let's just hope it's not as bad as what it could be, because those ones can be big ones, can't they? That could be season-ending. So let's just hope not. As for the transfer window, Simeon, who knows? Who knows what this club will do? Will it be a couple of late deadline day deals? Will this Tell deal get over the line? Will
Do you
it be
think
a
it
busted
will?
flush?
Are we going to get Matthias Tell?
Joe, I hope so, because he is a real talent. He is a real talent. But it's weird for me this time that the clubs have agreed the fee, but we haven't agreed it with the player. It's normally the other way around nowadays, isn't it? So
Yeah, exactly.
he's obviously got other options, and obviously it's a bit of the Harry Kane debt getting wiped out. So we'll see. But if this does go over the line, it's a great sign of club and well done to all at Spurs. If it doesn't, then we've got some money to spend and we're running out of time to spend it.
Yeah, what would you consider, or would you consider any kind of signings a successful window now? Sitting here the 30th of January, we've needed players from before the start window desperately, and sitting here trying to scramble around for players. Is any amount of signings now, like how many is a successful window for you?
I don't know if you can gauge it as successful, but I think going back to what Simeon was saying with Dragusin, I think we need to bring another defender in. Whether it be a left back, left sided, or a versatile one that can play across the back four, but that defence needs some numbers definitely. Do we end up getting another Nelson, a couple of experienced bodies in it? We definitely need bodies. But it's good to see that the youngsters can come in and hold their own, and hopefully we'll get to see them try it in the Premier League for the second half of the season.
In the next round, we're into the last 16. Sociedad, Galatasaray, AZ or Midtjylland for a place in the quarterfinals. Are you confident against any of those four, and how you think of our prospects in this tournament now?
Galatasaray I'd rather avoid like the plague.
Yeah.
The others, Real Sociedad, obviously it's a very tough place. AZ Alkmaar, that's Parrot's team that we played in this round, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So it'll be the. So we gave them a game, and what was the other team you said, Ben?
Midtjylland from Denmark.
That would be the one you'd want, wouldn't it? Really, you two boys
absolutely.
fancy a trip to Denmark?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, I fancy a trip to any of those places, to be honest. I would love to go back to Istanbul. I loved it there. It was a brilliant place.
Yeah, but what I'm talking, you might have enjoyed it as a fan. I mean, going to the Galatasaray Stadium again is where, if you had to choose the actual. Forget the location, but the actual. Who would be your two guys pick for the next round that you'd like to see Spurs get?
RZ. I don't know.
RZ or Midtjylland. Either of those two, I think I'll take.
So there you go. You'd rather go to Spain in the nice hot weather or Denmark, and you can go to Legoland.
Yeah, Denmark, please.
Yeah, go. So you want to go to Legoland?
Brian,
I can take Joshua. It'll be win-win.
There you go. You got a field trip with Ashley. There you go.
Exactly.
Brian, by the time the game comes around, it'll be kind of mid-March time. Hopefully, touch on wood, we're going to have players back. You know, Van der Ven came back today. How good was it to see him back today on the pitch? He was brilliant. Hopefully Romero back as well. Solanke should be back by then. All the forward players like Johnson and Odebear and who else is going to be back by then? Vicario is going to be back then. Odogie's going to be back for that as well. They're all hopefully just around the corner of returning. Can we have a serious crack at this competition? Is there any belief in you, despite the fact we're 15th right now, that we can actually have a really good go at this competition?
In the cups, and if we stay fit, I have total belief. Like I said, the cups are where I want us to focus. The cups is.
It's gone again.
It's all about staying fit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. If they can stay fit, we have every single chance. If we, that's the big thing. And hopefully we can. Hopefully they can get back, stay fit, and we can give this the real push that it deserves.
Absolutely, Brian. Thank you so much for coming on again today, my friend, and I'll speak to you very soon.
Speak to you later, boys. Everyone have a good evening. See you later.
Nice one, Brian.
See you later.
Great seeing
What
you,
is
Brian.
that struggling? Is that our end or his end?
No, I think that's just his end.
His end. Okay. Let's just get in a couple of super chats before we go into our next guests. 1 second. First of all, from the missing texture saying Spurs run a nursery and the kids have run wild. Come on, you
Absolutely.
Spurs. Andrew
Can't
Din-
control the kids.
No, you can't. Andrew Din says, Ben, Sim, time to debate a serious topic. Did Ange mismanage our squad and fuel the injury crisis? Our academy players show they can contribute. Why has he not utilised them, spread minutes to avoid injury?
Well, look, this was Moore's 12th appearance of the season, so it's not like he hasn't played him at all. I think he's given him.
Moore's had
some
his own
minutes.
problems, though, hasn't he?
Moore's had his own problems as well. Obviously, Lancashire, could he have played more, especially with Richarlison being out? I think there's a case to say he does that. Look, I think there's definitely a case to say Ange hasn't handled the injury crisis well, and he maybe has exacerbated it. I think that's fair to say. But when you're in the situation we are and all those injuries, it's hard. It is a very difficult situation to manoeuvre and manage. So I don't envy him. I don't think it's an easy thing to do, but I don't deny that he's probably also guilty of mismanaging some of the situations. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree that he's definitely guilty of mismanaging a lot of the situations throughout the season and seeing how the players performed on the pitch. I mean, the reality is 3 of those goal scorers haven't been available. Or Scarlett hasn't been available the whole season. Moore has had his injury problems and he's been ill and he's missed a whole chunk of the season.
And he's played all the Europa League games pretty much when he's been available.
Yeah, and done very well. And Ajayi, I think with Ajayi, we never even considered him as an option before today, or even before today we didn't. Even today we didn't consider him an option, and he's come on and does the business. So I do feel like there has been mismanagement in terms of the likes of Jed Spence for the first half of the season, Reguilon for the whole season, Will Lancashire. I think there has been evidence of mismanagement for sure. But in terms of the players that have come on today, I wouldn't put it down to these 3 players.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I agree with that. But also, I'm not like, let's say you bring a new manager, are they definitely going to do things that, like, are they definitely going to play players that they don't want? Like, every manager has players they don't want, you know what I mean? And yes, we can blame Ange, but I'm saying other managers also have their preferences and they do similar things.
There's something in playing players you don't want, but when you're in the situation that we're in, sometimes you just don't have a choice, right? And we've been playing injured players from the start of the game, like Pape Matar on the weekend. Yes, it didn't have an impact on him, but he did miss training. And there's just no reason to put that risk on the squad when you've got a regular there. And yeah, fine, maybe he doesn't want him, and that's fair enough. And many Spurs fans, probably all Spurs fans, would say, I'm happy to see the back of him. But he's not that bad where you can't give significant minutes to with the situation that we're in.
Yeah, but I look, for example, like the Chilwell situation at Chelsea. He's just not wanted him, right? So he's refused to play him. Cucurella is pretty much, I think he started every Premier League game for Chelsea. Like he's started and he's actually started some Conference League games as well. So like, people would say Maresca's doing a better job, but like let's say Maresca's our manager, he might do the same thing. You know what I mean? I'm just saying other managers also do that. Like I'm not saying,
but Chelsea haven't had the injury crisis. They're not suffering from the fatigue that we're suffering from. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's also true. But I'm just saying, like, I don't think necessarily other managers would 100% have like done things completely differently in that situation. That's all I'm saying. But I get it from what we can see and the judgments we can make. We can say he's mismanaged it and made those wrong decisions.
Darius Harb says a trophy is coming soon. Ange in. That's what Darius Harb is saying. SLG is saying we shouldn't be happy that the youth scored. What? Now we can be sure that Levy won't sign anyone in this window. And that's exactly what we said at the end of the game, didn't we? Is Levy going to use this as an excuse?
100%. He can use anything as an excuse. But what we've already said that Levy's wet dream would be to just make your own players and not have to sign anyone and have players coming through your academy who are ready to step in. And obviously, we do genuinely believe, don't we, that we have a golden generation here on our hands with these players coming through, playing in the lower leagues, and also the ones coming through the academy. And every time they're put to the test, they seem to be standing up to scrutiny. So it looks like there might be validation. Also, maybe the way we've set up the whole youth project, I'm not saying right now, but has to have a lot of credit for it, because there seem to, at the moment, is serious talent coming through.
Yeah, I even thought last week in the Europa League when Olasesi came on, he looked like he had something about him.
Yeah, so maybe we should be trusting them more. But, as well, if we trust them too much and we don't get the results we want, people will start, complaining. So it goes two ways.
Victor Mathiasen, member for 40 months, says, best feeling seeing the kids score. We need to be calm and still ease them in. Elfsborg versus Premier League is a massive difference. Come on, you Spurs. I'm telling you, that was one of the best feelings I've had this season, those 3 goals.
Phenomenal. Yeah, it was just a great moment, and it was especially in the timing of it as well. I think everyone can be absolutely delighted with it. Ange has been speaking about Mikey Moore. He said, I think that goal will help push him on. I think he started the game really well, but he had a bit of a struggle after that. But that's it. He's 17, and that's just part of the growth. Getting a goal, I'm sure, will give him confidence. He's been good for us in this tournament, and in the early parts of it, he was a big part of what we were doing. He's 17, and he keeps developing, and we nurse him along and protect him along the way. He's got a lot of attributes to be outstanding talent for us. He'll remember tonight, which is great. Scoring goal at home in you is great for him, but he knows he's still got a lot of work to do, and we're going to help him.
Absolutely. Samuel Lynch with the super chat says, money for nothing riff is how I feel when we score. Money for nothing and the Hotspur way graduates for free.
He also, Mikey Moore, became England's youngest ever goal scorer in Europe.
Oh, wow. Brilliant.
17 years and 172 days. That's just a reminder of how young he is. You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Yeah.
All this hope we have in him.
Yeah, and he doesn't play like a 17-year-old, does he?
No.
Faz Radfar says, I wonder how Lancashire feels. I mean, I think it was probably known to Lancashire before the game that he was going to be going out on loan. And, yeah, it's not this game where I feel for Lancashire. It's probably the games before that, prior to that, when you look at, you know, what Spurs have been going through in terms of the fatigue and the injury crisis and everything like that. And he got his chance against Galatasaray, and I thought he grabbed it with both hands, albeit he did get sent off at the end of it, and that's pretty
one
much,
hand.
maybe one hand. And that's the last time we saw of him. He did score, though.
He did score, and true, but he also did get sent off. So, look, I don't know. I don't know if Ange maybe feels like he's not ready or not, but you know, you might have felt worse for Scarlett, I guess, because he's been here longer. He's been on that journey, and you know, he came on and got his goals. So we should be happy for him. But yeah, look, unfortunately for Lancashire, that's who he's in competition with, and like Scarlett got his chance, he scored, and Lancashire is going to be going out on loan now. And Razvan with the super chat, no comment there, but support for the channel, so thank you so much to Razvan. But let's move on and let's go to our next guest, and he goes by the name of Christian Kemp. Big up to you, Christian. Thank you so much as well for the stickers as well that you've sent through, so big up to you.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys got those. They, they turned out well. Yeah, Tottenham till they kill me.
Brilliant stuff. And it's going to get stuck on the back of this laptop. Don't you worry about that. And I've got one for you as well, Sim.
Oh, good.
So
Lovely.
we've got.
All right. Well, I'm glad you got them.
Till they kill our stickers. So yeah, thank you very much, Christian. But tonight is a night that belongs to Hotspur Way, isn't it?
Oh yeah, man. That, like you said, it's just, you know, those 3 goals are one of the things. Whenever they score, it reminds you of why you love this game.
100%.
You know, golly, like, can you imagine like a better? Like, you look at it, you even look at their faces. They're living their dreams. Like first professional goal at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in a Europe match. Like, oh my goodness, like they're on like cloud 9. Yeah, those are things that you dream about as a kid in the backyard, you know, kicking around the football. So yeah, I just like you said, like that's probably one of the best feelings I've had this season, just watching them go off. But that being said, like let's not overdo it. Like, I'm happy for them, but Elfsborg compared to Premier League, 2 very different things. But tonight I'm happy about it.
Yeah, but you say that, Christian, and you're right. Obviously, the level of opposition isn't there tonight. It wasn't maybe as good as Premier League, but cast your mind back an hour ago with 20 minutes to go in the game. It's 0-0. Yeah. We're struggling in that second half, and we did really need them not just to come on and score, but save us. And there was moments in that second half, wasn't there, where Dragusin's gone off injured. We're looking at the league table thinking, if we concede a goal here, we could be dropping out that top 8, and that means that's an extra 2 games with this squad, which we really could do without, isn't it? And so they really did step up in a big moment, didn't they?
Oh yeah. And I'll say they stepped up. You know what I'm super proud of? this, tonight, I mean, you know, I whenever we scored that first one, when Scarlett scored, I looked at the guy that I was watching it with, and I said, it's about time that we won a gutsy defensive, 1-0 match. And obviously ended up being, we scored, 3 goals, but I was really proud of the pride and the hustle of the defense tonight. I mean, you look at the the stats. We're like what 81% possession. We got 11-0 shots on goal. We got 10 corners. They got 0 corners. Like that is that's good defense. Any way you look at it. So I was happy for the youngsters. So like obviously we got to score, especially with playing the type of football that the Ange likes to play. But I thought the defense came to play tonight, and I was really pleased with, the way they played. And that kind of leads me into the other deal. I mean, we need to be careful with them, but we are a different squad whenever Mickey van de Ven is on the pitch. We are just a different team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that was about to be my next question. It's like, it's hard to remember sometimes when you get lost in the excitement of the Hotspur Way boys scoring tonight, that Mickey van de Ven actually started the game, played 45 minutes, and bar Sonny, who had an unbelievable first half performance, Mickey van de Ven just looked like he slotted back in, calm, cool, composed, and it just seemed like he'd never been away. I mean, what a performance he put in.
Oh yeah, and he played well. Golly, Mr. Reliable Ben Davis, came in and played pretty well. Yeah, we don't need any more injuries, so I hope I hope
keep
we
him
don't
on
have
ice,
to
man.
rush
Keep him
back.
on ice.
Yeah.
Talking about not needing injuries, we did probably pick up one, didn't we, with Radu Dragushin in that second half? And how are we going to manoeuvre that situation now with Van de Ven? We wanting to keep, as you say, we're going to have to be careful with him to make sure he doesn't break down again. But with Dragushin now out, it's going to be even harder to manoeuvre that situation, isn't it, Christian?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question of the century right there. If I had the answer to that, then I would to call Ange right now and let him know. But I mean, and I know we said, and I don't like to say things over and over again that we all know, but we all know whenever the board doesn't bring in players, we're playing with fire. Like and I watched. I think Brian said it last week, and I like the way that he said it. Was that we're playing with fire, but if we think that Nicky van de Ven did pretty well tonight, but if we think these players that have been injured that are going to come back and then bang be ready to go, we're kidding ourselves. It's going to take a game or so for them to get their feet under them again. So I'm optimistic, and I think that we can make a run at this Europa League, and then golly, at Liverpool this next Thursday, we perform there. Who knows what could happen? So we still have all the opportunities in front of us, but we need players in, and until we do, we're playing with fire, and hopefully, I've been looking in the news. I guess you never really know, but hopefully Levy's, now that he's under a little bit pressure, maybe it lights a fire under him.
Yeah, I mean, we seem to be scrambling around for anything and everything that we can get in at the moment. We have had a £60 million Euro bid accepted for Matthias Tell today, but, no indication if he's willing to accept that. He's willing to come here. Other teams in for him as well. Do you feel like that's a deal that excites you and we can get over the line?
Oh, yeah. I was reading an article about it today. I mean, that's the key is if he accepts us. But, I know I said maybe just I'm an optimist because I don't cheer for anyone except for Tottenham. But why wouldn't he want to come here? Because he's going to get playing minutes. We're in all the competitions. If I were him, I would want to jump in, and then who knows? Maybe he helps us. In Europa League, maybe he gets in and helps us in the FA Cup or even Carabao. Maybe I don't know, but it excites me because. One, we need an attacker, and two, he is a player. He's not a scrub that we would just bring in. He's a player.
Yeah, absolutely. How would you like to see us manoeuvre now this next week, though? Because Brentford away on the weekend, Liverpool in a massive game in the Carabao Cup next week. You know, probably our biggest, well, definitely our biggest game of the season so far, with the fatigue and the injuries and everything like that, and the youngsters coming on and performing today. How would you like to see us manoeuvring these next 2 weeks?
I mean,
next week?
we got to be strategic. There are a few players that I would for sure rest, and I think Kulusevski. I want him fresh when we play Liverpool. You know, let's see, Kulu. Who else? I mean, I'd be fine with starting some of the youngsters. You know, but I think Kulusevski, and then I'm trying to think of like who we got, and I was like, oh, he's injured. But you know, I think Kulusevski's key, keeping him fresh.
Well,
I would
Spence is
say
fit
Sonny,
and Porro,
but he doesn't like to come out. You know, he likes to kind of lead the team. But yeah, I would say Kulusevski. You know, maybe sub some people in that midfield if you can. And then because golly, we showed tonight. You know, crazy things happen. You know, and when you got confidence and fresh legs, you know, we can take anyone.
Absolutely. So big up to you, Christian. Once again, thank you for the stickers that you sent over. Tottenham till they kill us, my friend. Over and out. Thank you for coming on.
All right. Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
You too, mate. How would you like to see us manoeuvre then these next 2 games? Would you like to see maybe some youth given a chance against Brentford?
Yeah, I mean, I would like to see Scarlett involved in the squad again.
Not starting.
I don't know about starting. Because look, Rishi got 80 minutes tonight, but you know we're probably gonna need him. I think playing Brentford is obviously a different kettle of fish to Elfsborg, and so is Liverpool. But I don't know if look, he's taken them off at half time. I think with a view of probably playing them on the weekend, I'm assuming, and also trying to just manage their minutes out of a very big cup tie. I'm just reading Ange talking about. Dragoshin, he said Dragoshin has hurt his knee, but I don't have any further information. Then he also said that all 3 halftime subs were pre-planned. So even the fact that, which is quite interesting, because you got to remember at halftime Sonny was running the show and we were still at 0-0. So the fact he took him off was, even though it was planned, you could argue, did the plan change at that point when he's playing so well, we're not winning and we need him? But he stuck to it. And it paid off. Obviously, Decky came on. I think the big ones maybe that we'll have problems with is Rishi. Did he play too long? 80 minutes maybe? I don't know. I don't know if maybe he would have had less minutes if the Dragoshin sub didn't.
The thing is with Rishi, right? He's been back for a while. He's been back for 2 weeks before he even got the first game. He's got 50 minutes in the last 2 games, 80 minutes today. So is that not just like a natural progression?
Yeah, I just wonder if he would have been taken off earlier if the injury to Dragoshin didn't happen. It could create a whole reshuffle. Bergvall and Gray, they need to start coming out of the team at some point because they're continually playing 90 minutes every week. Albeit today, I mean, Bergvall definitely showed a few signs of fatigue. Gray was still pretty good. Davis is playing a lot since he's come back again. He's come back straight away and just come straight into the team. He hasn't played. So it'll be interesting to see on Sunday against Brentford. Well, it's a big game. No Premier League game at the moment. The situation we're in, we can just take for granted. And considering that we're getting closer to that relegation zone, so we just need to get some points on the board. It'll be interesting to see what he does with Van der Ven. Is he going to play 90 minutes? Decky, is he coming in and play 90 minutes? Sonny, Rishi. And then, does he try and give this opportunity to Porro for a rest? Maybe play Spence at right back, Davis left back, and play. Well, I guess if Dragoshin's injured, I play Gray and Van der Ven. I guess in the centre. It's a difficult one.
Unless we bring someone in
between now and Sunday, yeah. Unless we bring someone in.
I mean, Brentford is past the. Oh, it's not. It's before. It's
Monday's deadline. Also midfield, Sarr.
I know, we've got to bring someone in by tomorrow if we're going to want to play them against Brentford.
And then as well, Sarr played 90 minutes today, where maybe that wasn't the plan, but he had to play left back. Basuma obviously came off the bench. Bentancur only had a half. And
Romero might be back for the weekend.
Romero might be back. We're not going to have Maddison, so is Bergvall going to have to play? Or Basuma's
there, Sarr's there,
Bentancur's
there.
But again, there's no real quality.
Creativity.
Yeah, creativity.
But
Does he play start
one-
Decky and start in the middle and put more in? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think Mikey Moore should start on the weekend. I really do. I just feel like we should try our best for some players to get arrested in view for the game on Wednesday night, because we need to kind of try and minimise as much as possible the tired legs on Wednesday night.
It's a massive week. It's Thursday now, isn't it, Liverpool?
Is it Thursday? Okay,
We've got
Thursday.
Brentford, Liverpool and Villa. What a big week ahead.
Yeah, massive week. A week that can shape our season.
So he said, first of all, he said all his 3 subs were planned. He also said on Scarlett, we looked at the situation. He had a couple of disappointing loans, and we didn't want to send him out with little prospect of developing, so we decided to keep him with us to train and to play.
Interesting. And he's definitely made an impact today, that's for sure. Charlie Bell with the super chat saying Sonny was breaking ankles out there. Come on, you Spurs. He really was, Charlie Bell. Sonny was brilliant. But let's go on to our next guest. Goes by the name of George. How you doing, George, mate?
Yeah, not too bad. It's a bit of a better mood this evening.
Yeah, absolutely. And when that game today, those 3 goals, I mean, I can't remember the last time I've had such a feeling of pride watching Spurs for a long time, right?
I haven't celebrated a goal like those 3.
Yeah.
I can't even remember how long. My gosh. It was such a good feeling, especially when Mikey got his one, because you could see he was really, really trying. You could see the frustration every time he made that back post run, and he didn't get the ball. You could see his arms going up, his head was going down. I was starting to get a bit worried for him, for his confidence, like moving into next games. But oh my God, the way he celebrated that. This is the exact way I celebrated it. I was sliding on my knees across the living room with the old fist pump, like, come on.
And you could see him after the game as well. The camera panned him and he was just doing like this to himself, like, yes.
The fact that he did it to himself just brought a smile to my face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a fantastic night, wasn't it, George? And how do you think potentially this night, the fact that we were struggling, we turned to these youngsters like Scarlett, who's been out in the cold on loan deals, and Ajayi, and they came in and obviously won us the game and made all the difference. Do you reckon that can have a real big impact on our season going forward in terms of their involvement potentially?
Look, I think it's promising, of course. I think bottom of the Premier League would still be harder than tonight's opponents. No offence to them, but I don't want to get carried away. I think that's the way of saying it. And if we hadn't won tonight, that's the first thing everyone would have jumped on Ange's back for. So, I mean, I'm always trying to think of the other side of things. So whenever everyone's saying Ange out, especially Sim, you've seen that I'm quite on your side of things and I try and defend him. But also when it goes the other way, I try and think of that side of things. And if it hadn't gone well today, I think Ange would have been out of a job. And especially considering how many youngsters were on the pitch.
Yeah, we talk about George, this level of team aren't the same as might be the bottom of the Premier League. And I agree, the level of team that we played today were not good. However, we were struggling to break them down. And when we played Southampton, who were bottom of the league, we were 5-0 up within like 20 minutes or whatever it was. Yeah.
Good point. But there was something that someone said in the chat before I came on, but I can't remember what it was. I was going to reference it, but it's completely gone. I'm on cloud 9. I'm just trying to live in the moment being a Spurs fan, because it's all going to come on.
And how do you maneuver that situation? Like, what players need to be given a rest? How much do you prioritise the game on midweek Liverpool?
I don't envy Ange's job. I really don't. Personally, I think he's doing a good job of rotating where he can. I think, obviously, going back to the hindsight side of things, I think it's all well and good now saying that Jed Spence should have been tested a lot earlier, but he was tested a couple of seasons ago, and we were all saying, "Oh, get him out of the club." So again, I think hindsight's a big thing. I think we just need to roll with the punches, get as many players on the pitch for as short as possible time, and just get as many players back as we can.
Yeah, you say that about Jed Spence. I mean, but he comes on in the Carabao Cup and pretty much keeps us in the tournament.
in pre-season, he was one of our best players that have performed in pre-season. Seem to be the ones that have been consistent throughout the season.
That's a good point, to be fair. I didn't think of that. And now that you say that, I said that Jed Spence was our best player pre-season, and then second was Bogval. So, eat my words there.
Yeah, and Dragoshin looks like he's picked up an injury. I was just reading a quote from Ange saying he did good, he said, when he was coming off the pitch. So as we get Van de Ven back and we lose another centre-back in Dragoshin. We just can't get any luck, can we, George, when it comes to this injury situation?
Never ending, isn't it? Obviously, I don't know if you saw the little clip of him on the sideline when he lunged for the ball, pretended to pull his hamstring.
Yeah. So that was top
really
quality banter. Yeah, it really did. What do you rate our chances in the Europa League then? You know, our next opponents. I don't know if you've seen one of Galatasaray, Alkmaar, Midtjylland, or Sociedad. How far do you think we can go?
I said beginning of the season, I'm not going to change it. I think we can win it. I think we're more likely to win this than anything else. I've said that the whole season. Yes, obviously injuries have been there, but we've always sort of been kind of consistent in this competition. We've only had one or two minor hiccups. I know we've not played many games in comparison to the Premier League, but it's obviously been a competition where we had the chance to... Can you hear me? Cut out there.
Yeah, we
had the chance to obviously get out of the playoff places, which has saved so many games, and I think that was ultimately key. I think if we'd gone into the round of 16, we would really struggle. But now that we're in the top 8, as far as I'm concerned, there's no excuses not to really push on and try and win it.
All right. Big up, George. Let's hope we go all the way to Bilbao. I just want to let you know, I've already booked a hotel to Bilbao. I booked it about 3 months ago, so let's hope that's not a waste of money. But big up to you, George.
Go on, you Spurs.
All right, let's keep moving, people. Next up is Lachlan Sterling. How you doing, mate?
Good, guys. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear, mate. How are you? And talk to me about your sense of pride seeing the Hotspur Way graduates get those goals today.
Oh, where is it? I'm feeling so good. Like, those are probably, as George said, one of the best goals to see happen in front of you. And the first one went in, and we've been watching Dane for so long, and just to see him, with that aggression and that determination to get that was so amazing to see. And then it was like Christmas. It was back to back to back. We were opening up everything to see. It was so amazing. Honestly, I don't know how to explain how we felt there. Crazy.
And
Way to start Friday.
And it was such a big moment as well. We're struggling in that second half. At one moment, Dragoshin goes off, and you're thinking, this could be a struggle to get through this game. We could even lose it. And if we were lost, we would have been outside that top 8. So how impressive was it to manoeuvre those last 20 minutes the way we did, considering the way we were struggling? And does Ange just maybe deserve some credit for how he changed that team when Dragoshin went off?
100%. I know I was asking questions as well with the half-time sub, looking at how Sonny was looking. He was looking bloody 20 out there. He was looking so young. He was looking great. He was looking fast. He was taking on everybody. He was just looking so good, and taking him on at halftime, I was thinking what's happened here, but I think 100%. Once Dragusin went down and we brought on the Dane as well in the middle, that was just I don't even know. It was so incredible to see that happen there. I'm like, it's like 2-3 years waiting for Dane now, and it's been so amazing to see that. Sorry, I'm just stumped on that.
Yeah, I know. We all are, mate. We all are, mate. We're sipping the Hotspur Way juice tonight. And with Dane Scarlett, a few poor loan spells. He's been to Oxford this year, in and out the team, went on one kind of good run of form. A bit like a certain striker that we had in Harry Kane.
Yay. I mean, it could happen. He's looking great out there. And it's always strange to see players go out on loan and don't get this lick in when you see them perform. Like we saw him in preseason, and then every time he's come on, he's shown aggression and he's showed determination. It's so strange not to see him get more minutes out on loan as well. But scoring professional for Tottenham finally, I think is going to do a world of good for him. Like that's something that can't be understated. I think that's really going to help him here.
Yeah, I totally agree. You can never kind of underestimate what a bit of confidence can do for a player. Really can. And I think once Dane scored that goal, you could just see the confidence reaping through the side, and the academy graduates were obviously the massive beneficiaries of that. But with Dragusin's injury now, would you really like to see us dip into the market for a centre back before the end of the window?
I mean, we've been saying that since September last year, you know? Like, we've been saying yes. Like, I don't think anyone's changed their mind. I think having Archie Gray, he's been so solid, so quiet and sturdy but consistent, but we just can't keep relying on him. And now with Goosen out, hopefully Van der Ven can come back, Romero can hopefully start. But even Davies putting in a shift now, like, why don't we just have someone else senior there? Why don't we have someone lined up for the window? I don't understand that, you know? So strange.
Do you see Scala getting a lot more minutes until Solanke's back? If we don't sign a striker, that is.
Well, we said that about Lancashire, didn't we? And then all of a sudden he's been put out in the cold. So I think it's quite strange there. But I would like to see him get more minutes. But with Richie back, we can't forget Richie's, was Brazilian number 9. He may not be coming back, but he's been such an incredible player for years. Like if you got the choice, it's kind of hard to overlook Richie there. So. But I do hope Scarlett gets some minutes coming up.
And back on the transfer window, what's your prediction? How many players are we bringing in before now and the end of the window?
How long is left? Sorry, I'm in New Zealand, so I don't know how many hours directly are left. You guys got is it 12 more hours?
No, it shuts on the 3rd of February.
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Hopefully we get this Matthias Tell in, because he's an amazing prospect, and just imagine like our young players, if we got another forward signing, like that would be crazy. I haven't heard much updates on that, but it's still a long shot because of obviously choosing Tottenham over other ones where he said he kind of wants somewhere else. So I would hopefully I'd say one more, because I don't think we're going to get Towell, but I hope we get a defender, and I hope let's even though we're mad at Levy and we don't really, let's hope he gets someone in, I still want to be there and be like, I'm not going to say 0 because I don't believe in him. I want 1, let's get someone in at least. That's kind of my prediction there.
All right. And the Europa League, we going all the way?
All the way. Easy. Perfect. Got it.
Big up to you, lad, for coming on today, mate.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Have a good one.
You too, mate.
But in terms of something I was thinking about just now, like, we've definitely been scoring more headers recently, haven't we, from crosses? Because we had that Solanke one against Newcastle, we had Richarlison against Leicester on Sunday, and we had Scarlett's one, and they're all kind of similar kind of crosses, aren't they?
Yeah.
That kind of half-space crosses into the box, so maybe that's something we'll be working on, I think.
Yeah, I brought this point up. I don't know if I brought it up to you or someone else that I was on the watch along with, but those are like Solanke's bread and butter chances, right? That's where he's the most strong at, using his head. And for the most part of the season when we were using Solanke, we weren't doing that. We weren't getting him those chances. And now we got him that goal, and then he got injured, which is the most frustrating thing about it, because Solanke would gobble up those chances for fun.
Decky played this one in, Porro played the other 2 in. I think that's probably something that Ange is like, we can get those ones in place, but we need to start looking at other avenues to score as well. And
that's exactly what I thought we were going to do when we brought in Solanke, though, and we just weren't doing it.
Yeah, maybe we're only just starting to.
Yeah, well, it's just frustrating, isn't it? Because that is literally what Solanke's like, one of the best in the league at that.
Yeah, and also, we had Richarlison at Everton as well. I wasn't a header, but got a cross in at the back post there.
No, he's also very good at it, Richarlison, to be fair.
So maybe that's something we're going to see more of.
I hope so. Well, do we have anyone else?
No.
All right. So I think we'll leave it there for today, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Player ratings, post-match review, and also looking ahead to the Brentford game on the weekend. But thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always,
come on, you Spurs.